Chicken banana, chicken banana, chicken banana, 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 chicken banana, chicken banana, chicken banana.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Thursday, June 19th, 2025. I'm Jay Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Basketball lovers. This one's for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo.
Ayo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Appreciate everyone joining us here today, either on YouTube or you podcast listeners. In case you missed it, we recorded a banger of an episode yesterday, ranking the last 25 NBA finals. So if you haven't checked that one out, do yourself a favor, fire it up here. You got time before Game 6 tonight of the NBA Finals, as we use the tier maker to go over every NBA Finals from this century. Had a blast. Trip down memory lane.
Yeah, this one's good for all Robert Horry fans out there. People are saying we were too hard on 2010. Should have been an S tier.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, I lived it, man.
I blogged it, man.
Exactly. That's true.
Another one of the finals that we ranked, this 26th one that we're currently in.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to find out if we're going to have 7 games. That would bump it up.
We ended up putting it A tier. Is that right?
It's been good so far.
Yeah.
It's been very good.
But we said,
good.
hey, it could go up
Yeah.
to an S tier, especially if we get a Game 7. And we're going to get into that. We'll do a little Is This News later and dive into the Lakers sale for $10 billion. But after a back and forth battle here between the Thunder and Pacers, 2025 NBA Finals, one step closer to crowning a new champion. Does it happen tonight? Let's break it down. And you know we got to start with the status of Tyrese Haliburton. Yesterday, Pacers coach Rick Carlisle said that a decision on Haliburton's status for Game 6 here tonight, it's not expected to be announced until later this afternoon, maybe this evening. Looking like he's a game time decision is where we're at with Haliburton. So my question, shout out to the guys at ESPN for this one. On a scale of 1 to 10 tests, how concerned should the Pacers be about Haliburton's status in that calf injury?
I'm bumping it up. I feel like I'm an 8. A bit of worry on both offensive and the defensive end, because I think defensively, he's just got to stay in front of his guy. We saw the Thunder extremely smart when there was enough space out there to just fly to the rim. Well, if they didn't get back fast enough, if enough guys weren't back fast enough, when they turned the ball over and over again or had late shots in shot clock situations, the Thunder were just good enough. Like, Shea wasn't the primary ball handler, but if they weren't getting back, he was doing a smart thing and getting to the hoop. Even Lou Dort, who Tyrese Haliburton will probably be on, was doing a good job of getting to the rim and initiating the passes. It's not so much that Tyrese Haliburton is just going to get kicked, his butt kicked one-on-one, but it's just the passing that happens. It happened over and over and over again. And Jalen Williams, obviously the guy who was so good at his cuts. That first half, all of his baskets, plus one 3-point shot, were all on cuts. And so that's what he was doing. And so I think I'm worried about Haliburton just getting into the right spot at the right time. We saw OKC battle Aaron Gordon in the second round, where Aaron Gordon came and played in Game 7 of that series with a half of a hamstring. And,
Right.
and he played well enough. Jalen Williams took it to him and scored 24 points and was extremely good there. I just want to be able to see Haliburton, be able to do that. And then on the offensive end, just be able to try and get in the lane. It's not so much that he has to score, but he's got to get into drives as much as possible, because the Thunder are going to be scrambling. They're going to be everywhere. And I just wonder if Haliburton can keep them moving. That's the key. Obviously, it's going to fall on the other ball handlers and Nembhard and Matt McConnell and Siakam and stuff. But I do worry about both ends.
Sure.
This Thunder team is just too good on both sides.
Okay, you have it at an 8. You go higher, lower, or the exact same?
Barely higher. I would go a 9. I don't think it's impossible for the Pacers to win without Haliburton. I just think it's pretty unlikely. You look at Game 5, 4 points, 0 of 6 field goal shooting, but the Pacers actually scored pretty well in that game. It was their second best offensive game from an offensive rating standpoint, but Haliburton is the engine for this team on the offensive end. 110 offensive rating when he's been on the court so far in the finals, 102 when he subs off. That's not good enough to win against the Thunder team. And unfortunately for the Pacers, they lack a guy who's like a LeBron James type. We're going to throw you the ball, pound it for 20 seconds. Either you're getting a good look inside or you're creating the right shot for somebody else. Like Pascal Siakam can attack from the mid-post area for sure, but that's not the way the Pacers want to play for an entire 48 minutes. And, we've seen Siakam kind of fade in some of these fourth quarters, though he was pretty good to start the fourth in game 5. And it was a 2-point game. Like, the Pacers played it close without Haliburton really being able to do much outside of being a decoy in game 5. So I think if they're able to match his minutes to every time Isaiah Hartenstein is on the court for the Thunder, put him in a pick and roll every single time, at least then Haliburton can be somewhat of a threat, even if he's limited, to shoot a pull-up mid-range jumper, to shoot a pull-up three-pointer, shots that aren't going to require him to turn the corner, beat his guy off the dribble, and get in the lane. Now, obviously, the Pacers want to be in the lane, but I don't know if that's going to be realistic for Haliburton. But if he's able to go, and I'm sure he's going to at least try and gut it out, right? So. It's going to be the Aaron Gordon. It's like, you're playing, but you're not the same guy. This is an opportunity for Andrew Nembhard to actually step up and have a pretty decent game here. He's been 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists so far in this final series, 44% from the field, 33 from 3. He's had a pretty down finals, but last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, when Haliburton went out with, I think he had a hamstring strain at the time, Nembhard stepped up 32 points, 24 points, and 2 close losses against Boston. So it's somewhere deep in there. Yeah. Of course, he would then be the guy having to face Lou Dort. He's getting upgraded on his defensive matchup. So it's going to definitely be tough for the Pacers. But I think they really lost game 5 because they couldn't stop the Thunder defensively. So maybe there's a tiny opportunity there.
Halliburton did take part in the Pacers practice on Wednesday, but that was a lot of watching film. So he's just sitting there using his eyeballs. He can do that. They had a 30-minute walkthrough, and then they did some light shooting, and he was basically just flat-footed out there, just firing it up. So he wasn't obviously going at game speed or anything like that. They've been trying every treatment, the reports are, to make this a little more comfortable for him here for game 6. Hyperbaric chambers, needles, massage, electronic stimulation, special tape. So they are giving it a go here and had at least a big gap between games 5 and 6 to try and fix the strained right calf. But
you think the H waves are going to work?
I don't know. I'm not
what
sure.
What is that?
If he can't play, that is a possibility, right? He warms up tonight and they're like, we got to save him from himself. He can't play. Is it as simple as putting TJ McConnell into the starting lineup? Is that what you would do if you're Rick Carlisle? Because he did say, we have a plan if he can't go. What do you think that is? Is it just see if TJ can start the game off for them?
I think it is TJ.
Yeah.
And what would be the other option? Benedict Mathurin? I don't think you want to put him in that role. He hasn't really thrived.
Hey, it's his birthday today.
Oh, great news.
Give the birthday boy a start.
You think he bakes his own cake?
Maybe.
It was Ben Shepherd that started for Haliburton when he was out last year. He hasn't done much on the offensive end, but like I said, I thought the defense was more of a problem for the Pacers in game 5. I would personally start Mathurin just because I think he, outside of the last 2 games, he can at least get in the lane, and I think that might be the Pacers' best chance of scoring efficiently against the Thunder tonight is drawing free throws. Siakam can get to the line, Ben Mathurin can get to the line. Maybe you do just play it slow mode, which is completely antithetical to what the Pacers have done for the entire season. Tough way to switch things up in the elimination game of the year, but we will see.
That's the risky part, is you might see Benedict Mathurin try and take it upon himself to be the non-Pacers. I mean, just not passing the ball enough, using everybody, this democratized team. That's what they have to be super good. And so that's why I think TJ would start. But I don't think you want one-on-one stuff at all, period. With Haliburton out there or whoever, everybody's just got to get a taste because defensively, the Thunder are going to stop you. And they have to move the ball and they just have to get the shots early. They can't wait 20 seconds to get a shot in the shot clock, which happened in game number 5, and that hurt. Those turnovers or late shots, that really hurt.
I am with you guys, though. I think Haliburton starts this game and at least tries to test the calf and see how it is, and then there'll be decisions to be made, right? If he's getting exposed or the explosiveness is not there at all and the shot's not falling, whatever, then I think Carlisle and that staff have to make a quick decision to go earlier to TJ, go to Mathurin, Ben, whatever it is, Ben Shepherd. So we'll see. Look, Haliburton has not had a good series as it is. Now, he came in sort of with these lower leg injuries. He's only averaging 15 and 7, had a bunch of turnovers for him in this series too. But a big part of that's Lou Dort's on him.
Yeah,
and that's a great point.
Thunder, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just the honest truth. He's in the torture chamber. So it's I think even if he's fully healthy, I don't think these numbers are all that much better personally because he's such a focus of Lou Dort and he can just lock in on these guys. But we'll see. Hopefully he can go. So the next question is, what do the Pacers need to do here tonight to extend the series? What's an area of focus that you got your eye on?
They got to make 3-pointers. I think they should be spamming threes. I think they should be going for as many efficiency points as they can. 3-pointers and free throws. Only 36% for the series are the Pacers so far. They're averaging 12.5 makes per game, which sounds good, but the last 3 games has been 9, 11, and 11. So a lot of that is skewed by game 1 when they went crazy, 18 of 39. But Oklahoma City playing games 3 and 4 in Indiana, only 6.5 makes from 3 per game. They shot 34%. They were cold from 3 on the road.
Yeah.
So the Pacers have to hope that flips their way, playing back at home. Maybe that means you're getting some big games from a Miles Turner, Obi Toppin. You have to hope like Neesmith is ready to shoot. Mathurin has a good shooting night, but they need to get as many 3-pointers up as they can and try and flip this math-wise on the Thunder, I think.
Yeah, Miles Turner has to be the guy who gets it started. Those shots will be open. Will he be willing to take them? I mean, it really falls on all 3 of these guys. You know, beside Aaron Neesmith, when Haliburton's in that front or in that starting lineup, it does fall to Turner and Nembhard and Siakam in different sort of ways. Like Andrew Nembhard has to be aggressive, but he's that guy who likes to slow it down a little bit. You know, he does the decel when he gets into the lane. That's his thing. But guys have to be around him to cut for him. He has to be just a little bit more aggressive. Everybody has to be a little bit more active, while Siakam can be that guy that takes advantage of every single matchup. He is that good. Whether it's a guard, okay, we got this. He can do that. Or whether it's a big, he should be able to go around Hartenstein or whoever. So there's all those guys really just have to produce in different ways. And it's easy just to say that. Everybody's got to be good. Yeah. But that's who the Pacers are playing. It's because they're playing the Thunder. And I think you'll hear like Richard Jefferson on the broadcast, if the things are going well for the Pacers and everybody's producing, you'll say, whoa. This team knows that Haliburton needs other guys to produce, to drive hard, to shoot those threes. I mean, it trickles down to the guys off the bench. There's just so many things that they have to do. Aggressiveness, cutting, shooting threes, playing basketball.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
They really need to control the tempo tonight, and a big part of that is like don't turn it over 20 plus times. Like you somehow won game 1 when you did it, but like we said, you run that game 100 times, it feels like you only win it that one time with the Haliburton jumper. 99 of the other times you're probably losing, like we saw in game 5. That's huge. And then the magic number is 110. They gotta hit 110 points scored. They're 14-0 in the postseason when they do, and they're 0-7 when they don't. And I know it got awful close the other night with the 109, but hey, 110 is the magical number.
One missed free throw for Johnny Furphy.
That's right. That's right.
That's all
we
it
could have
was.
blown up that stat.
It would have. Yeah, so Pascal has to start better. He led the team in turnovers. It was 6. I mean, he can be the guy that they depend on. He had 3 in the first quarter. That's where OKC just started running. And again, that's where I think the defense can be a problem for the Pacers if everybody's not back and ready, because they're going to move it. They just use the perfect opportunities, man. I know Jalen Williams had 40, but a lot of it was just playing off of his other guys. If they're ready to go, the Pacers defense has to be cutting off every single lane, every single time.
Turnovers are huge. I mean, that's a huge part of the reason the Thunder were able to blow it out in the fourth quarter. It was a 2-point game, and then they turned it over on 4 of their next 5 possessions. So you can't win that way, chasing the Thunder the entire time. You gotta play it slow. Like, this should be a monster Siakam game. He should take the most shots on the team by far. He should have the ball almost all the time. I do think, Jalen Williams has done a very good job on Siakam. I think when they switch him onto Siakam, that's when he kind of gets turned off in fourth quarters. Now he was 5 for 5 in game 5, hit the shot that got him within 2. It's in there for Pascal. Yeah. So this has got to be a good game for him, and they can't go away from him, because I feel like sometimes he does get lost when he's not in the transition opportunities, and that's definitely going to be an area of emphasis for the Thunder, is to get back, especially if they're playing without Haliburton. Like, they're probably not as worried about the half-court offense from the Pacers.
Do you have anyone else as a Game 6 X factor heading into this on either side? Because we could talk about the Thunder too if you want, but I know it's a lot of focus on the Pacers, like who needs to really step up. Yeah.
I think Obi Toppin is key in that his drives have to be decisive. He has to go for it. Just watching every single one of his misses in game 5, he just wasn't letting it go at the right time, just getting to the rim as much as he could. I mean, he's 1 of 5 from 3. There were some rattlers there. Yeah. And so he could just be great. I mean, the bodies are there to get in front of him, of course, because OKC is that good, but he is so athletic. If he can just let it go over a guy, we could have had a couple more makes. And he can shoot. He's going to get opportunities. Score.
I like that one. I'll double down on that. I do think if they're going to win this game and give us game 7, the Pacers sort of front court needs to at least play the OKC front court equal, or if not better. And a big part of that is Miles Turner, to go back to him. Tonight has to be the night where he hits 3 or 4 of those threes up top. They have to be. He's got to take them, shoot them with some confidence. Maybe he sees the first one go down and then they're off and running. But he's 5 of 22 from deep in the finals. He's a good three-point shooter. He's been a very good three-point shooter for a very long time. And this is a bad time to go ice cold. But with Haliburton's role in question, they desperately need a good Miles Turner game. I think he is the ultimate X factor for me tonight to maybe get to a game 7. But I also think with Toppin, just the front court of the Pacers have to outplay OKC in at least a game 6.
He is overdue for a good game.
Yeah.
Hasn't had 20 or more points in a game since game 4 against Cleveland. In his last 2, just 6 of 15 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3, and his confidence is completely shot. There are wide open looks for Miles Turner that he would take during the regular season that he took through the entirety of the Eastern Conference playoffs that he's now pump faking and looking to just move the ball, whether it be a mid-ranger or a three-pointer. He's got to have a good game.
Yeah.
13-5 for the series. Doesn't feel like he's had much of an impact. Get busy on the offensive glass. You are still tall out there. He's actually broader than Chet Holmgren, so I don't know if he'll actually be able to push him around, but this is time for Miles Turner to have a very good game playing in Indiana, maybe for the last time, right? He's going to be a free agent this summer, so I think he'll come back, but it's time for a good game. I think another guy for me is Mathurin. 27 points in 22 minutes in game 3. Since then, 15 points on 3 of 13 shooting. He was very bad at the end of game 4, missing all the free throws, crazy fouls, all this kind of stuff. It kind of bled into game 5. I thought the way he played was not very smart. So they need him to just have a great Mathurin game.
Yeah. And then to go back to Andrew Nembhard, I think offensively it'd be a great timing if he had a big game. Andrew, please call me Drew Nembhard. Zach Cram pointed out how he has quietly regressed on offense in these playoffs. This is what you were sort of talking about, Trey. Through game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Nembhard was averaging 14 and 6. He was making over half of his 3-pointers. And since then, so we're talking about a majority of the Eastern Conference Finals and then in through the finals here, he has fallen to 9 points per game, 3 assists, and then really struggling to hit the 3 now, 31% over that stretch. Now, I think in his defense, it literally is his defense. He has really committed a lot of his energy and time on that end trying to slow some of these star players when it was Brunson and then SGA. So, you can give him that as a bit of an excuse, but man, would they love a nice, Nembhard game offensively tonight, hitting these shots, hitting some threes to really give us to a game 7. So the final cue here, it's a true or false. Is this series, I guess I should say it like this, true or false, this series is going to game 7, baby. We're playing the Zaza clip on tomorrow's podcast. True or false, Trey?
I truly hope so. I would
like
like to see a game 7. Yeah, come on. Obviously, this is a major Thunder advantage right here. I saw they even have people driving from OKC to Indiana. There's even thunderstorms and tornado warnings in Indianapolis.
Oh, no.
So it's almost a home game
a sign.
for the Thunder. But the Pacers have been a great, resilient team all year. They hadn't lost 2 straight games since March. I don't know the last time they lost 3 straight games before March, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. Backs against the wall. Player injured. Everything is pointing towards the Thunder winning their first championship, but I would love to see Zaza Pachulia in that grainy footage.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I know. As would I. I think a lot of us would. What do you think, though? True or false? Game 7, baby?
Well, everybody definitely thinks that OKC is winning here in game 6, so it'll be a surprise. The Pacers are taking it. Yeah, we saw the Thunder score enough points because of Jalen's 40 and Shea's 31, and also these miraculous performances from Cason Wallace banging home 3 threes after he hadn't hit 1 the first 4 games. Lou Dort splashing 2 threes in the fourth quarter after he hadn't splashed 1 fourth quarter 3. And Aaron Wiggins chipping in with 3 other threes. So they did score 120 points, but I don't know if all those things happen again. I mean, you had 71 from 2 guys and these miracle games from guys. I know Cason Wallace can hit a 3.
They're capable, but
yes, they are, but they hadn't been doing it. Now we're going to Indiana.
Right.
Things are a little different. I don't know how many people are driving from OKC, how many blue shirts will be in there. They shouldn't let those people in there. Check their clothing. Not let them in. They're not allowed. That's the way it works. But I'm sure they'll probably come in a yellow shirt and take it off when they're in there. That'd be smart.
Camo.
I just want to see a great performance. I do want to see Haliburton out there playing, and I think the guys will be playing for him, around him, and
they're going to have to.
Yep.
I had 4 predictions for these finals when we were doing our preview of this thing. My first one was J-Dub would be the early finals MVP favorite, but SGA would win it. So I had that one backwards. J-Dub started slowly in this series, but now over the last 3 games has got himself sort of into finals MVP conversation. I don't think he's winning it. Regardless, it's going to SGA. So that one's like a half one right. I did say we'll get a TJ McConnell podium game. Now, I don't think he ever actually got to the podium. So there's a technicality there where he went and talked to the press. But man, I'm going to take that one as a win. He had 2 games, I think we could argue. He sort of got overlooked in the Mathurin game, but McConnell was on fire that game, and then he had a really good game 5. I didn't say it was going to come in wins. I was going to say he was going to have some big moments. Then I said 2 of OKC's wins would be huge blowouts. Thankfully, I was wrong about this one. No one wants blowouts. We definitely don't want blowouts to talk about on the show. Because we had OKC winning game 2 by 16. It's not a blowout, is it? I don't think so. I was thinking 20 plus in my head.
20 plus, I agree, is a blowout, but game 2 is the only game that's felt like a blowout.
That's right. And then game 5 that they just won, they won by 11, but it was definitely close. Yeah. So that was wrong again, halfly. But my final one was Thunder in 6, and that's why this one ends tonight.
And if the Thunder win in 7, you'll say I was basically right anyways.
No, I won't. No, I won't.
Right.
No, you guys had Thunder in 5. It's Thunder in 6. You were
we were technically right on that. They won game 1 as well, but technically a guy hit a shot at the end.
Oh my goodness. They're winning their championship tonight. I can't believe. Halliburton's barely playing on one leg here. They're toast.
Shock the world, baby.
Yeah, go ahead. I think it's over tonight. OKC, all those people driving up there are going to be able to celebrate, I guess, on the road.
Now I have to drive home. That sucks.
Well, not that night. You're going to be partying in Indianapolis. See you at St. Elmo's Steakhouse. Snorting the horseradish out there.
Snorting the horseradish.
I think Thunder win tonight. But look, if it goes 7, it goes 7. We got more basketball to talk about.
That's a wake up, man. Snorting horseradish. We had the pleasure of being there. Woo! That horseradish was hot. There's nothing spicier.
Oh, interesting.
There is. Other than when Lee Ellis ate peppers on our show.
Hiccup peppers.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great Netflix doc, actually. The pepper test, the pepper contest. It's part of the great Netflix doc.
Called what?
Well, it's like all these contests.
Oh, is that the one where they had the frog jumping contest?
The frog jumping,
the
the cheese roll in England.
It's like weird sporting events.
Yeah.
Sporting events.
Yeah. Pepper eating contest, cheese roll, super fun. Frog one was meh.
Yeah, I watched that one.
It was good.
Yeah. We asked the people here on the stream team who's winning Game 6 tonight. Thunder, 61% of the vote right now. 39% saying Indiana, get us a Game 7, baby. They want the Zaza. Talk it into existence. We will see.
We are the champions. I knew it, but I couldn't say it. Is the Netflix
nice.
cheese roll / other stuff.
Okay. All right. So that's a little preview for Game 6. So we'll wait to see how Haliburton is and if he even plays tonight. But let's get into some Is This News? All right. First headline. We're sticking with the Indiana Pacers because they made a trade. And I'm sorry, we can't even call up the Southern lawyer for this one. No. That feels disrespectful. But
speak to my associate, the Southern paralegal.
Yes, right.
We got ourselves a trade.
There you go. NBA.com, we'll go to the headline. Pacers trade Mojave King. Who? And the number 23 pick in the 25 NBA draft to the Pelicans. So again, in the trade, Pacers sending the number 23 pick in this year's and the draft rights to Mojave King to the Pelicans for the Pacers' own 2026 first-round pick, which the Pelicans previously acquired in a deal that sent Brandon Ingram to the Raptors. So there's like a little swap going on here, Tass.
Yeah.
Pacers getting back their number 26 pick, but giving up the 23rd pick in this year's draft to the Pels. Is this news?
I'm saying it's news.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm saying the Pacers have too many players, and they don't want to draft one this year. They may draft one next year, maybe. Maybe. But I think this is just another asset for them to trade, essentially, to package it with other players. I know we all talk about the Rockets, potentially the Timberwolves, the Spurs as teams that could package their talented players, but the Pacers could also do that. And now they have a pick next year. And it'll probably be a worse pick, I would say, than 23, because I think they will finish in the top 7 of records next season, so 24 through 30. Yeah, I'm just assuming. So I just think they're saying, you know what, we don't want this pick. We don't want a draft pick here this year. Save it for next year. See what we do with it.
I guess Hollinger pointing out, in shipping out this pick, the Pacers roughly get rid of like $2.7 million guaranteed salary, and that would go to that player, of course. So you don't now have to do that, and they are trying to figure out Miles Turner and his contract extension. So maybe they just save some money here and they get their 26 pick back.
That's 100% of the reason they did it, is to try and pay Miles Turner. They say they're going to go into the tax. Pacers usually don't go into the tax, but Miles Turner has been there forever. They went to the finals, so I think that's why they did this. Basically, the Pacers have a 10-man rotation already with guys at the end of it in Johnny Furphy and Jarris Walker, 2 recent first-round draft picks who can barely get on the court. Like, Furphy is the human victory or the human game is over cigar at the very least for the Pacers. Obviously, Walker has been hurt for this entire finals, but played sparingly throughout their run through the Eastern Conference finals or playoffs. So if you've already got your team, you've already got your rotation, you've already got 2 pieces that you're trying to develop, it makes sense to save the couple of $1 million and try and pay Miles Turner over the summer. And like you're saying, the Pelicans are saying 23 this year is better than 25 next season.
Right.
So let's do it now.
Let's do it now.
And give us your king, Mojave King.
Yes, there is a player involved in this.
It's a miracle over the Mojave King. A lot of people say, who? Me and Taz say, no, we called the Mojave King game once upon a time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What, in the G League, I
He was a
assume?
G League igniter. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't even think he played, but he was on there.
Yeah.
He was in the packet of information, the dossier that we read.
Oh, did Dink play?
Dink Pate.
Think fate?
I think he
so.
played, actually, yeah.
Yeah, he played more than the king.
Okay. I do believe this makes all of Indy's picks from 26 to 32 either tradable or now swappable, right? You know, depending on the year. Even numbered years, they could trade. Odd numbered years, they could swap. So it does sort of like complete that set again to go back to what you're saying. If like they are a player or active in trade talks, like, you know, you have draft capital now to do that in getting that back, you know, with the whole Stepien rule and all that. So anyway, they got it.
Right.
I guess it was the last time. I'm thinking when this trade goes down, you're like, whoa, a finals trade with a team playing in the finals. That's rare. When was the last time that happened? 25 years ago? The Nuggets did it.
Yeah.
In 23, which I had completely forgotten about. Obviously not a big deal either. Basically along these same lines.
100% the same
just
lines.
some working the books a little bit.
We
But,
want cheap players on our team. It's
Yeah.
kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And never somebody who is an active player, right?
No, I don't.
I imagine.
I don't think so.
I think it was all draft picks for
In
the
23.
Nuggets.
Yeah.
It was like they traded their first for 2 future first or something along those lines. When you're a good team, you got to figure out ways to extend your window and get cheap guys who can contribute.
Especially now, yep.
All right, moving on. Our next headline. This was a big one in the NBA world. We'll go to ESPN. The Buss family agrees to sell the Lakers to Mark Walter at a $10 billion valuation. TK, is this news?
This is huge news. This is the kind of news that the Hoop Collective did an emergency podcast for on a team sale. That's how big a news this is. And honestly, it feels like it could be kind of sad, if I'm being quite honest, the end of the Buss era in Los Angeles. The glamour franchise of the NBA and the Lakers was just a family-run business, a family-owned business, which is kind of crazy and kind of worrying for the rest of the NBA now, I think, because it's like the Lakers are always going to come out on top over the course of time. Like every good player that gets photoshopped into a Lakers jersey, he ends up on the Lakers in the future regardless. Now they have a ton of money to spend on everything else outside of basketball because we got a hard cap in the NBA. The second apron basically functions as a hard cap. There are reasons a hard cap was put in place for a guy like Mark Walters, for a guy like Steve Ballmer, Joe Lacob, who have enough money that they don't care about spending over the salary cap. They'll pay anything in luxury tax, but there's all these penalties for aggregating players, your draft picks getting frozen, this stuff that makes it so Walter can't do what he did for the Dodgers in MLB, where you just pay everybody more money than anybody else can. So at least there's a playing field that's level from a salary standpoint for the Lakers, but now they can hire any GM they want. Like Masai Ujiri, maybe come on down. Sam Presti, come on down. We'll offer you $100 million a year to be our guy. They could easily do it if they want to. They're going to have the best facilities in the NBA. They're going to have the best player development staffs in the NBA. That's the funny thing about the Lakers is they are such a star-studded franchise, but that's mostly on the court. Off the court, they were kind of lagging behind other teams, and now there's no way that's going to be the case.
Yes, exactly it. And that's why we won't see these family-run businesses anymore. You're going to see companies and organizations that are run by organizations that are smarter with their money and willing to spend. And what the Mark Walter-led ownership of the Dodgers did was a lot of those things that you did say, Trey, look, improve facilities, improve the front office, improve that kind of thing. Coaching talent, even, find JJ Redick, some other assistant coaches that can help player development. Go deeper. And I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to spend, even though, these numbers are just these numbers that it's impossible for me. I don't know if I speak for you guys, but it is impossible for me to understand. It's 10 billion at this point. It could eventually go up to 12 billion.
That's what the reporting's saying.
And the numbers keep getting higher with all of these organizations that are going to be run by non-family businesses.
Sovereign wealth funds.
Yes, exactly. These. So yeah,
The Abu Dhabi Lakers.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah. Walter paid Shohei Ohtani a ton with the Dodgers. It's the same ownership. He paid Shohei Ohtani $700 million over 10 years. Although it's like all of it was deferred.
That's the craziest thing when you're reading this, to see the Ohtani contract. They owe him $700 million, but they pay him $2 million a year.
Yeah, they push 680 later. We'll pay you later.
And they're probably laughing. They're probably like coming out easily in the green.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And Ohtani's
For sure.
Because, they're winning champion. They're winning World Series. He's obviously a star around the globe. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no. Ohtani, part of his reasoning for signing there was the ownership.
Yeah.
Which is an odd thing to say. I always talked with our man Joel McMillan on No Bunts that he would always say, "Oh, the Dodgers, no, they're never going to come around. They're never going to come around. They're not going to be good." And then all of a sudden they change ownerships, and now they're there doing it every single season, winning 100 games. Because of these tiny little changes and a $700 million change, but also these tiny little changes in practice facilities and all that kind of stuff. And that's where the Lakers seemingly will benefit.
Yeah. So Walter here and his group, like you guys are saying, primary owner, chairman of the Dodgers. He is currently holding a minority stake in the Lakers. Like he had like 27%. So this is just being bumped up to the majority here. He took stake in 2021 of the Lakers, him and his partner, again, that 27% share of the franchise. It was valued at that time, the Lakers, at $5 billion. And here we are 4 years later, and we're looking at 10 plus billion, which is pretty wild. It's just insane. We just saw the Celtics in, I guess, I don't know if it's official, but that's a $6.1 billion sale. That's a lot more than even just what happened with the Mavericks and Cuban moving off. I think that was like 3.5. Like, this is an eye-opening number. Right? You saw all the valuations. I remember at the time, like Lakers are probably 6 or 7, somewhere around there. 10 billion, Trey. I mean,
the most valuable franchise in sports, period. Not in America.
Right.
Globally.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You can see why Glenn Taylor tried to call take backsies on selling to A-Rod for $1.5 billion. He's like, whoops.
Whoa, damn. Yeah. No, it's a good point. And the Buss family has done pretty well. Jerry Buss purchasing the Lakers from Jack Kent Cooke, one of my favorite names to say, back in '79 for $67.5 million. That was the transaction. Also included the Kings, the Los Angeles Forum. I think a ranch was included as well, and then the Lakers. So that was, quite the return on investment here. The $67.5 million, about 50 years later, we're at the 10 billion plus. Now, Ramona Shelmerd had an interesting tweet. She said, maybe the reason why this is happening here, like why the Buss family is selling it, the majority of the Lakers, is that Dr. Buss structured his trust after, before he passed, so the team could only convey to his 6 children. So it was set up sort of, maybe even oddly, as a last man standing situation, unless the team was sold by majority vote beforehand. Because like my point here, like to break that down, it's like the way it was set up is like, probably whoever the youngest of the Buss family kids are, like they'll be the ones that eventually would take it all on. But they thought, maybe that's not fair. Maybe we start getting into these numbers that we do sell here to then evenly share this money. To Johnny, to Jim, to Jeannie, to Janny, to Joey, to Jesse.
No, are those all the children?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
There's a seventh that Dr. Buss has, but I don't...
Rick!
Steve!
Well, they went through a legal battle a few years ago. They went through a legal battle a few years ago where Jeannie was able to retain management ownership.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how all those legal battles work, but she had ownership. She had the ability to run it, and she was doing it extremely well.
Well, and they say, at least here, the reports are that Jeannie Buss is going to continue to serve in her role as Lakers governor, to which I say, bullshit. No, she won't. She will maybe right now. It looks good, but she will not continue.
Ramona Shelburne reporting that there's language in the contract, and her source is Jeannie Buss.
So you're saying, Skeets, you're saying it's more of a Mark Cuban
Yeah,
situation.
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Where Mark Cuban sold the Mavericks, but was
generally
not
people
there.
don't buy things for $10 billion and say, hey, the other person, you run it.
Well, it's for a few years is what they're sort of implying.
Allegedly, the Buss family kept like 15%,
Yes.
which is what you have to be considered a governor for the
Okay.
team.
I
Mark
think it's
Cuban
unlikely.
Mark Cuban must hate this. Every time a team sells, they're like, what about Mark Cuban, though? He said he was going to be running the team.
Yeah.
They did say that.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
that was proven
Yeah,
not
I
true.
thought, yeah.
So I think something similar will happen here. Maybe I'm wrong. But the other part, holy crap. You have to assume like Silver and the league knew these sales were cooking here, right? I'm talking about especially the Celtics, the Grosbeck sale, and then now this one with the Lakers. Like he was kicking the can when it came to expansion down the road. I think in large part because he's like, hold on. We got two of the most storied franchise in the world. They're talking about sales and stuff like that. Let's get those sold. That's going to only drive up the market for these eventual expansion teams, right? Like it's so obvious now. It's like they could have done expansion, but and then the new television deal too. And I know that comes into play, but man, because now this just is like even crazier now. Like the pockets you're going to have to get these expansion teams. It just sets it higher.
Yeah.
Right?
No, there's no doubt. I do wonder what happened with the ranch. Sorry to go to the ranch.
I think
Yeah,
a ranch.
the ranch.
Yeah.
You're right. That was reported for sure.
I'm interested. Does that have anything to do with Phil Jackson being done with the ranch? So Jeannie Buss is done with the ranch and they can just get rid of the ranch. But I don't know if that's part of this sale.
I don't know.
That was part of the 79
Maybe
sale.
the unnamed seventh bus child has the ranch.
Right.
Rick's ranch.
Cowboy Rick.
Rick is
I don't
good.
care about the team. Let me have the horses.
Ricky's ranch.
Anything else on this?
Look, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but everybody
But
was
I-
like,
That's always what a conspiracy guy starts with.
that's what it always starts with. The Luka trade, if you're trying to say it's not a conspiracy, having the Mavericks get the #1 pick and then the Lakers sell for $10 billion are pretty hilarious
Yeah.
things to like leave with no cover up at all.
Sure.
No cover for this team, but pretty crazy the way this is played out.
Unbelievable. So right now reported 10 billion valuation, but yeah, could be even more. We'll wait to find out. Moving on here. This headline from The Athletic. As NBA plans for new pro league in Europe progress, EuroLeague re-enters the conversation. Tass, we'll start with you here. Is this news?
This is news. It sure feels like the NBA is going to expand, have some sort of league in Europe. We just watched what a franchise sold for in the Los Angeles Lakers. People are hungry to sell sports. They are alive. And Silver, along with Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum, they commented and said, we're meeting here with EuroLeague officials and representative of all 13 permanent EuroLeague teams, along with the NBA, to have that conversation. Where are we going? How do we expand? And it sure feels like this is going to be not with the EuroLeague by any means, but there's going to be this sort of secondary league, I would say.
Maybe.
It sure feels that
But
way.
in the article, it said, quote, the two leagues have had a frosty relationship over the last year. We're talking about the NBA and EuroLeague.
Yep.
After the EuroLeague turned down the NBA's offer to partner with EuroLeague to run a European basketball league, but the relationship seems to be thawed in recent months. And I guess Tony Parker playing a part in that. So it's...
Yeah, he's one of the owners of the EuroLeague.
Yeah.
EuroLeague team, a
Teams.
permanent team,
Yeah.
ASVEL. That being said, they're going to meet and just discuss what is going to happen in Europe. How are we going to have another league? I mean, they did meet and they had this conversation. And Tatum basically said it's going to happen in 2 to 3 years. That we're going to, within that Athletic article, that there will be a European basketball league. And he, further expanded and said, into this vision of a revamped top-tier league in Europe that is going to service fans, the millions of basketball fans in Europe that currently aren't serviced today. And you saw a German team, Alba Berlin, leave the EuroLeague to go to this FIBA's Basketball Champions League, and
Right.
that will seemingly be the affiliate of the NBA or whatever it is. But I think it'll be the secondary league, and they're only meeting with the EuroLeague to just get to the table and say, hey, this is what's going to happen in Europe. You guys know what you're doing, but we have to expand. There's just so many fans that are unserviced in Europe, and it just feels that way. It feels like there will be some sort of league as opposed to the EuroLeague.
Yeah, I think there will be the NBA's European League and probably still the EuroLeague as well. And the EuroLeague is saying, they're going to come in here and leave us behind and make all of the money here. So why don't we get on board with this or at least talk it up to see if we can't be included in this somehow. It's kind of like the NBA ABA merger. Like the NBA's version will probably take like the biggest and best EuroLeague teams to start up this thing. And my other takeaway was like, is Adam Silver's dream to have a Club World Cup of the NBA, of basketball? You know, they're doing it right here in Atlanta right now. We got Inter Miami versus Porto tonight at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But it does seem like that would be something that excites Adam Silver, is having NBA run leagues in America, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia. Then we get them all together to play in an NBA sponsored World Cup. Come on. The guy loves international basketball and international tournaments. I think this is the long-term goal.
He loves the beautiful game too. He loves soccer. He loves football.
Yep.
We're like 5 years away from Silver proposing basketball players use their feet.
One change I would like to make.
What if we throw it on the ground and kick it around, boys? I'm joking, but that's a great point about I like that. Maybe put the potential of like the ABA and NBA, if that does start to happen over there. We have the EuroLeague, then we have an NBA European League, and could they form at one point or at least work together? And that's sort of what this article is about.
Yeah, I think they will be. I assume they will be separate. That being said, they will play in some sort of championship game. Sure. Whoever wins the EuroLeague, it's probably going to be Olympiacos or Panathinaikos. It's got to be a Greek team. But
I want to know if European fans want this. We're over here and we're like, okay, this sounds cool. But like, that's not a given that they want this at all.
Yeah, it seems like there's 13 teams there that are permanently in there, and there's just more fans to have. That there's just these focused, whether they're local or country type of teams. So there's more to be had.
The NBA has said, like, basically on record, like 8 times now, like, there's money being left on the table here. You guys could be doing a better job. And like, this is all working with FIBA as well, right? To really try and turn into FIFA. I mean, that's also what we're getting at here. Like this big global, obviously, just basketball brand.
Yeah. The NBA has that relationship with FIBA. There's no doubt. And when I mentioned that German team going into the FIBA's basketball Champions League, and that just seems like
it's like laying the groundwork to eventually be one of the first teams into this NBA European League, right?
Yeah,
that's what it feels like.
Yeah, the EuroLeague turned down the NBA's offer to partner with them last year to run a basketball league, but now they're at the table with Tony Parker running things, and we've got a game here tonight, as you mentioned. Inter Miami's here. Messi's playing. Anybody going?
No.
Yeah. There's an NBA game. That's the
that's at 3:30 though.
Oh, is that 3:30? Yeah, it was at night.
You guys want to go?
I think good seats still available from what I can tell, though this is a messy game, so maybe a little bit different.
Right.
There was only 20,000 plus in the first game on Monday or Tuesday, the other Club World Cup game.
But they are saying now
the lowest of attendance numbers in the history of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium compared to the Atlanta United.
I literally just saw a headline. I think it was from The Athletic. It was probably in the Pulse newsletter, which I think we just made an appearance in this morning for yesterday's show. But about this idea is like, is there too much soccer? We have too many games.
There's a lot of soccer. Yeah,
there really is. There are like too many cup games now. But I don't know. I'm not a soccer fan, so I don't really know.
That they are saying the same thing about us. Do Americans want all this soccer? They don't, but guess what? They're still doing it.
Still gonna get it. Yep. All right, well, let's move on to our next headline. I got a couple more here for you from the Arizona Republic. The headline is, Suns have no leverage, may have to lower price to trade Kevin Durant. TK, I'll start with you. On KD, we've talked a lot about the hypothetical Durant trades, but this is the latest on the Suns maybe having to we got to take way less to maybe get this done. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the fact that everybody who cares about basketball seriously has known Kevin Durant is going to be traded for 4 straight months is coming back to bite the Suns. They tried to trade him at the deadline, didn't go well. And from that moment, everybody's like, he's going to get traded in the offseason. So all the other teams in the NBA are being smart. Yep. Somebody's going to get a good deal. Like, they're not going to have to give up everything for Kevin Durant. Like, he wants to go to the Spurs. So why would they offer the second pick, especially if nobody's going to be able to beat that? It's not like the Mavs are going to offer up the first pick. Maybe you can get number 14. Maybe you can get one of our prospects, but we're basically just matching salary and tossing you a bone or something like that. Like Minnesota, there's a deal to be done there if Phoenix wants to do it and if they're okay with Kevin Durant not wanting to be there. It just seems more realistic to me now that a Kawhi-like situation would happen where the price gets so low that one team is like, all right, what's the risk here of tossing DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl in a trade for only 1 year and it results in a championship? I think it makes it more realistic that a team can try that path if they don't have to give up everything that they're able to trade.
We talked about it at the time, at the trade deadline, when the Durant rumors happened. And we said, you got to be careful with stuff like this once that starts getting leaked, right? That you're entertaining deals to move a guy like Kevin Durant. Because if it doesn't work, obviously then you have the ramifications of like maybe an upset superstar. And he didn't seem to be all that upset, really, I guess, to play the rest of the season. But like now it's like everybody knows you're in the spot. Like TK just said, like, okay, well, we know you're trading him, so we're not offering you anything. Where maybe it's like a little more secret or like whatever back channel. It's like, oh, we can get Kevin Durant. Maybe in that scenario, you're more likely to throw a little bit more in. Now, look, he's 37 years old. There's all that part too. Can he stay healthy? How he's going to age? He wants the extension. Do we want to pay him 50 plus million when he's 38, 39? There is that too. But what's your take on this headline and the no leverage?
It sure feels like the Phoenix Suns have this reputation of having a poorly run organization, and I think that plays a part in it as well here. It's been extremely open that Kevin Durant wants to be traded, which is unfortunate for them. That being said, it just takes one to make some sort of offer for Kevin Durant to bump up the trade value. And I'm looking at San Antonio, Minnesota, and Miami. And so it's if Randall is offered for Minnesota, I mean, that would be the biggest name there. Probably Devin Vassell in San Antonio and probably Khalil Ware in Miami. So if you don't offer Randall, then it's Vassell or Khalil Ware. If you don't offer Vassell, you're getting Khalil Ware, and that's what you get. I mean, obviously it comes down to draft picks as well. But as far as the talent goes, yeah, this is a different time than 2 years ago when they got him, or 4 years ago when Brooklyn got him. It's very different, and it's a very different organization that's making the deal.
And you said it comes down to draft picks as well. That's another part of this, right? I mean, the draft's next Wednesday. And like in theory, they would want, I assume, at least one draft pick if they can get it in the 25 NBA draft. So it's like you want to have that pick before, you want to make that selection with it. So maybe like they're sort of under the gun here too, like to maybe trade them before that. Yeah, you predicted, Trey, that it would happen on draft night. And of course that could still be the case. But yeah, it's not going to be the sexiest deal, it sounds like.
Nope.
And it just goes lower and lower, having no leverage. So again, we just wait on this. We've talked about this a lot.
Yes, we have. But at least they can trade him. Bradley Beal literally can't be traded. He's buying more property in Phoenix. He loves it there.
That's sort of
They don't have a lot of leverage anywhere, huh? The Suns?
No.
A lot of money in the pockets, not a lot of leverage
No.
in the front office.
Yeah, what a trade by Houston last year, just to geekify it a little bit. 3-team deal to be able to swap for Phoenix's pick this year. So they have the number 10 pick because of just this smart move by Raphael Stone, basically banking on the Suns stinking.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out.
And you brought up Minnesota. Again, all reports say he doesn't want to go there. Durant does not want to go play with Minnesota, and I would not want to trade for an unhappy Kevin Durant. I don't care what.
Yeah.
I'm
If it's
spending
Randall.
and so what? Just hope you can win him over, and he bonds with Ant. And
I think more so hope that you can get close to a championship. Like, he probably won't stay, but it was worth it for the Raptors, wasn't it? Kawhi didn't want to go to Toronto, and he left when he could.
Yeah. It's just this era of the Timberwolves where they've gone to 2 straight conference finals, and they still think they can get better, I suppose. You know, like
that's the similarity to the Raptors.
Yeah.
Raptors were a damn good team, and then traded for Kawhi, obviously a superstar that they needed.
Yeah.
They don't win the title.
I would do it for Randall because his contract, he can either be a free agent this summer or he can opt into his player option and be a free agent next summer. So it's like you're not really missing out on anything. You're getting 1 year of power forward Randall or 1 year of power forward Kevin Durant. I wouldn't do it for Rudy Gobert,
right?
Because that doesn't make sense to me. He's signed for longer. He's a more like backbone piece of their team, I think. But if the price is Randall, and I mean DiVincenzo would hurt to lose, but you got to trade something a little bit valuable. So I would do it for if the price is right.
Final headline. TK, we're going to you on this one. The Chicago Sun-Times. Did you ever have a...
Yeah, I preferred the Times to the Tribune. It's like a book read.
Oh, it's that
rather
one.
Than a fold up and down. Yeah.
Okay, well, Chicago Sun-Times had the headline yesterday. Bulls locking down front office and coach Billy Donovan with extensions. Is this news?
The Times had the scoop, but my guy, Drew Stevens, had the information first. This is not even the slightest bit surprising news. This apparently has been done for months, and they just didn't tell anybody because the Bulls front office and their coach, they're doing their jobs. They sell out the arena every night. Biggest arena in the NBA, first in home attendance once again, year after year after year. Number 2, they don't overspend. 25th in payroll this season, the Bulls were. Sure, you're saying, aren't they the 3rd biggest market in the NBA? Yeah, they are, but still, they don't cost very much. And most importantly, they field a competitive team. Competitive meaning not the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
Someday the job responsibility will be to win, but that's not what it is right now. Right now it's keep costs low and don't be an embarrassment, because there was like 2 years where the Bulls were an embarrassment and they didn't like that. But basically, Mark Eversley, Arturas Karnisovas, and Billy Donovan are getting a complete second chance at a build here. They had 5 years, and after the Vucevic trade, I think they're like 4 games under 500. It's crazy. They traded a bunch of stuff back away, and they've traded for it all back. What do they have left for it? 1 playoff win in 5 seasons, 2 and 3 in the play-in. The opportunity to overpay Josh Giddey and Matas Buzelis is here, which is exciting.
That's what people are like. It's wild that these guys are being rewarded for finishing below 500 in 4 of the 5 seasons, when it seemed to be, clearly stated public goal is to obviously be competitive and compete and all that, which I guess they think they are.
That's what they think.
By being in play-in games, where most people don't consider that really being all that competitive and competing. But yeah, they're getting these extensions, and they love to do it in secrecy for the most part, don't they? God, what's with that too?
Yeah, they're going into the stability mode of a franchise. They're going to have the same guys keep doing it, even though it ain't working all that well, even though they are leading the league in attendance. It sure doesn't feel like the people who buy them or the corporations that buy them are there. It feels quiet. I don't know how they're literally leading the league in tickets sold. So yes, it feels like, we're here in purgatory. I mean, it feels like, we sell seats. Yeah, we're a play-in team. That's about it. I mean, it doesn't feel like...
It's better than when they tanked, is what the Bulls' thinking is. They used to tout having a 7-year-long playoff streak. That was like an accomplishment for the Bulls. We went to the playoffs every year for 7 straight years. And then they had a few down years where they kind of tanked, kind of didn't. They never committed to it the whole way, which is why they never really got a high draft pick. Their best was Patrick Williams at number 4 in the 2020 draft. 2020 draft has been a disaster for a lot of teams at the top. So bad stuff, but I'll say the Lakers sale gave me a little bit of hope. A family business selling the team for $10 billion. That's what it is in Chicago. Jerry Reinsdorf bought a controlling stake in the Bulls in 1985 for $9.2 million. Even now, the Bulls are a massive brand. They sell out every single game. They're probably one of the 3 most famous teams in the NBA. We've seen the Celtics sell from their family ownership. We've seen the Lakers sell from their family ownership. Jerry Reinsdorf just sold off a piece of the Chicago White Sox, who he also owns, to Matt Ishbia's brother, of all people. So I know Michael Reinsdorf is there, like, waiting to take over as the next generation of Bulls owner. But if the Celtics sold for $6 billion and the Lakers sold for $10 billion, what are the Bulls worth?
Right. Sorry. These numbers
6
get so
minimum.
astronomical that you're like, it'd be almost malpractice to not consider getting out or selling.
And that's the only
majority
thing that will
stake.
change for the Bulls, is they need a change in ownership, because right now it's just don't be an embarrassment and keep selling out the building and keep payroll low. And they do that every single year, which is why they bring these guys back.
Yeah. Well, there you go. A Bulls fan talking about the front office getting those extensions, along with Billy Donovan, too, which is a pretty funny part, this guy.
It's not his fault. I'll say that. It's not Billy Donovan's fault.
Yeah, it's the front office for They are trying to emulate a team with good players, just good players, as Karnisovas says. We just need 9 good players. We don't necessarily need a super duper star. Those guys.
Well, that's wrong. Well, that's
of course.
wrong. Then he should be fired immediately.
Well, he is the
It's
guy
like,
to blame.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, he made the Vucevic trade, which, 2 juicy draft picks that turned out to be Franz Wagner. Yes, that's the problem. Yeah. I mean, that was an old Vucevic, as we sat there and we talked about it. He was peaking. That was his peak.
It's
and they
just so
traded
funny.
a lot
It's like,
for that
you
guy.
need 9 good guys to get into the play-in. Yeah, in the East, yes. You might need a franchise guy, a superstar, either by trade, through the draft, whatever, to maybe go and win some playoff series.
Yeah,
and actually go higher. But
but Giannis recently watched a live stream that Matas Buzelis and Ayo Dosunmu did together. He said it was lit. So, come on down, buddy. Giannis still has a few more years before he's past his prime, and that's when he'll come to Chicago.
Then he's coming to the Bulls.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, you've been calling it for a while.
When he's like 35 and finally starting to show signs of age, I'd love to see that 34 in Chicago once again. Bill Wennington gifting him the jersey.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
That'd be fun. All right, that's Is This News? Some great headlines here during one of the off days of the NBA Finals. But Game 6 on tonight. We're, of course, back here tomorrow morning to talk about it. Are we either crowning an NBA champion in OKC, or are we dropping the Zaza clip on you and getting hyped for a Game 7 on the weekend. Can't wait to find out. But join us at 10 a.m. Eastern here from the Classic Factory. And yeah, hit the like button, subscribe. Podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. Fun show today. Till next time, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, 2 best words in sports, Game 7. Let's hope we get it. Let's hope we get one.
Brace the day, people.